Dear Earthmates, I'm sorry. Uh, we are visiting the Netherlands. We are visiting Margreeth van der Oord. Not an easy name for me, as we have practiced. Um, we've been introduced by our mutual friend, uh, Case, right? And we have conversed once. Rather, I talked and you kindly listened. Now, this will be an interview, and believe it or not, a serious one. And uh, so, now, what I want to say about you, I know very little about you, but enough to want to do an interview with you. And if I can say one sentence about you, one statement, it is this. You are keen in combining personal analysis with social contribution. Does
Well,
it
if you
make sense?
say so.
Well,
What a beautiful introduction. Thank you.
because I looked at your many titles, adjectives, and how can I summarize it? Uh, I cannot. So I just made up the sentence. Now the rest is yours. The floor is yours. I'll just listen and enjoy myself. But
All right.
to make things a little bit easy for you, out of my generosity and kindness, why on earth did you want to contribute to individuals' lives? Why mentorship? When? How did it happen?
Beautiful question. I don't know. And, where to start? You started with some kind of summary, how you perceive the information from LinkedIn, I think.
Yes.
Uh, and that, and LinkedIn is much about our achievements, right? So I've been reflecting on this prior to our interview, like achievements.
Well,
So I'm really in the unknown, actually, because that is the thread through my life from young child to now, so far, is very much about the untangible. And
you enjoy adventures in an unknown territory, I think. Mm,
let me say it differently.
Please.
I discovered an internal alchemist.
Okay.
Um, Exploring life as a child, I've always wondered, I was this free child. Of course, we are born complete, right? And I was this little girl living on a farm, loving flowers, loving bees, loving the wind. And pretty soon, I was young. I learned that the flowers were not so much appreciated because of the flies they were attracting. So bit by bit, I noticed that my sense of happiness, I believe, freedom. Well, these are concepts, these are words, but my internal sense was not shared with others. And and uh, I could see where, where words were shared, like in communion, but that internally um, people were feeling different things and their words were shared.
Mhm.
So all these, that was my exploration as a child. And I've been very lucky um, because I loved all of life. I couldn't make a choice for a living or for a study. My parents said, why not become a teacher? And I'm really very grateful for their wisdom at that time. Because at a very young age, starting the teacher training in the teacher training college, I learned about a holistic view, young children development and adversity in their lives, and of course the depending on where the academics lived in the world who came up with those concepts of how to help a child um, within their adversities so they could open up also for knowledge and learning. And so I learned about many different philosophies. And I could take that in, I could understand that. And I was looking, I was seeing the inner life of a child, but with those concepts, I was able to support them in their development. But it needed the holistic view was not only on the child and learning, but on parents and on grandparents and on cultural traditions and so on and so on. So that was in my scope at a very young age. My the my mentor at the teacher training college um, sort of supported me to study psychology or uh, pedagogiek or cultural anthropology because those three were very close to my heart and to my work because I felt I needed to create circumstances for a child to thrive, not so much needing to learn or to write, but creating circumstances. Uh, so, but I decided not to study, go into university at that time. So I had a working career for 8 years as being a teacher. Um, and I think that is something that is going on throughout my life, that I've always been in the field of humanity and not so much. So I needed the academic studies. I have three major careers so far, but I needed the academic concepts and um, to have frameworks for what I was seeing and for what I was creating. So, so I'm very lucky to start off at a young age there. Yeah. So I studied psychology, didn't finish it because I went to America, and that's a major shift. I lived in New York for a couple of years and came across organizations with a lot of power where economics, money, finances were very important. And with my holistic view on human development, that didn't bring me very far. in that world. So my eyes were opened and I was sort of shocked and decided when I came back to the Netherlands to study management and later on doing the master's in strategic management. At that time, the focus was very much on um, industrial ways of working in corporations, while I still was at how do we create organizations where people can thrive? And if people can thrive, they will have the most beautiful output thinkable, right? That was my major focus. But my mentors at the university, they were not so pleased with it because that was not their scope at that time. It was more about how the Japanese were organizing their organizations. And so, so, but anyway, uh, I stayed with, no, it's important. I see competition, yes, of course, but cooperation to me was closer to what the missing links I saw in organizations. And of course, has all to do with individuals and friction points and how do we meet each other at friction points? What is our behavior? And so I've been studying in the field people, behavior. And so my second career was about, I was invited in organizations, in school organizations where there was crisis. And we had a transition in that time in the Netherlands. A lot of newcomers from Morocco were coming in. The social structures changed. Uh, the conditioned, trained white teachers had no answers. How to bridge, how to be a link for the children and the parents and social structures. So that was my job, again, building circumstances for people to understand and to thrive and to listen and, you know, to work together, coexistence within school organizations, children, teachers, parents, um, the people who did the quality control. And so, and then I met my partner, and within a year, he was diagnosed with cancer. And so we were on our, pink cloud at the time. And then that cloud was cut open all of a sudden by the diagnosis of incurable disease. And I realized I didn't know anything about dying at that time. I knew about thriving and development and achieving, and behavior, but not so much about end of life. And I come from a secular background, um, and with a holistic view, I could find my way through life. But the missing link for me was the divine connection. The some call it the universal intelligence, others call it God. That was not in my. I knew about it, of course, but that was academic. It was not an embodied experience. So then death um, was there, and it was an aggressive cancer. So the doctors gave the idea of maybe a year, 9 months. Um, and he was such a wise man. He said, Margreeth, you have to promise me not to forget your own development. And he said, and he asked now. So I was, still in shock. And then he asked me to not take care of him, but to focus on my own development, because that would give him, if he could see me thrive, survive, that would give him strength. Oh, so wise, so wise. So I promised. And it was after 3 years, we had the trust that it was not very, it was that we had time. And that was also the time that he needed new medicine, new treatment, and that brought him in deep depression. I had read about mindfulness, but didn't know so much about it at that time. But I said, "This is your birthday present. Here, go a week, do a mindfulness course, because it might be helpful in your situation." And he didn't want to go, but he went. And Tarık, I've never seen that change so strongly in one person. Coming back after a week, he had stars in his eyes. Now, that got me triggered. Like, what? Is there something that that makes you connect with your inner joy, even in adversity, even in difficult times, life-changing moments? So I had to find out for myself. uh, and in the basic course, I was so touched because that helped me to innerly connect with the divine, with the whole universe. And so I decided to become a teacher. And then at the teacher training college, they invited me to be a teacher at the teacher training college. And um, that that's became my third career. Um, and it enabled me to, and that's what I mean. It's all about the untouchable, the how do you say it? The invisible. But it supported me to sit at the bed of dying people and to be present when one person is dying and the partner, um, and the bridge needed to be made for the things that were unspeakable. Um, I could, just being present, coming back to my very first childhood experiences in oneness, where there are no doors, where there is no division, where there is no critical voice, that, yeah, it changed my life completely. So, and mindfulness is much about to stay open, to be in that oneness. It's much about the three pains we can feel inside that close us down. It's our thinking, the concepts, the um, how we are raised, in which part of the world, the information, our experiences, and all the imagination and um, pre-assumptions that are in our mind that can be such big obstacles for being present, but also the pain of emotions and also the physical pain, of course. So, and mindfulness with the Buddhist background gives such practical tools to be present for the inner world in order, and that's what the alchemist is for me. That's just a name, it's just a concept, but to transform it into just being present. But being present means I don't know what will emerge, but I can be there. But it was later that I would, so this is the path of the mind, they say, that I was introduced to the path of the heart. And and that made me even more understand um, that presence directly works through the heart. And so understanding human behavior in a completely different way and how intention works. Um, so I was invited by, I did a 2-year training in America um, to also deepen my understanding of trauma and migration and other life-changing events, and how uh, civil society can be seen from different levels, from these levels. And so they asked me to become a mentor in Europe and then worldwide, and a coach and teacher. So much about my life is, it's not about achievement, actually. It's I'm not a Michelangelo, and I'm not a uh, Leonardo da Vinci. I'm not a visionary. Um, and I need being able to really be present. I need the arts and the music, and so I've been exploring that myself too, sculpting and painting, and trying to play the piano, which unfortunately uh, couldn't hear the music. So now I'm studying, and I'm deeply involved in the Arabic classical illuminating art. And by making the drawings, it's the whole human fabric is revealed to me, and also how the planets and how the whole what wholeness is. And well, I think that's what brought us together here.
Well, um, you have already mentioned a lot of achievements. What you do not, uh, your modesty prevails. I mean, your modesty prevents you, uh, you know, from using that word. But
It's not.
um, uh, the art of living, I like Seneca's approach when he said philosophy is a way of improving the art of living. And I think Stoicism and mindfulness are sisters or related approaches. Um,
Yeah.
and how uh, how about literature in your life?
Yeah, well,
Do you like?
yeah, I'm very much inspired by poetry and by work of some philosophers. And I've written a lot of poems myself,
Great.
but I stopped. I just stopped because I felt so sad because I felt I was doing short to everything I'd like to express. I'm doing short of what life really is, what creation really is. I
But
have no I have no words for that unconditional love. I call oneness presence unconditional love. And I fall, well, I cannot honor it in a way I would love to.
yes, but um, well, your concrete poetry in your life, you are concrete poetry, the way you live, and um, um, you might suddenly decide not to block yourself and just enjoy the game. Um,
Yes, that's possible.
if you allow yourself to embrace your childhood, which is limitless childhood, then you can allow yourself to write as you wish. And then when
Yeah,
it comes to the great stuff, etc., I would like to say, who is who has ever been sufficient in any field anyway. Uh, so
I'm not sure if I block myself actually. Well, maybe I will find out later. Maybe you're right, actually. Um,
you're a perfectionist, and
no, I'm not. But I'm turning more into silence and simplicity.
good. That means a few words may pop up on the paper. They do not have to make a poem or a story or whatever, but just a few words popping here and there. I can, you know, um, A3 size paper without lines. It gives one great freedom when you look at it, that void, that blank sheet.
Yes, that void. Yeah.
Yes, and then the joy of using a pen or pencil and putting a few words there, there, and there, and traveling, letting your mind wander, and then adding this and that, and playing, juggling a little bit, laughing at yourself, and then but keeping. That's also part of the unknown territory. And then
Yeah.
why not enjoy it? And then you will see that you will surprise yourself
I
pleasantly.
I love to play, but with others together, that's more fun to me. No, well, it's not true. I play a lot and I dance a lot by myself.
Well, you already that's good. That's good.
I need to think about the words. Do I block myself?
Look,
One of the most beautiful poems, I have them right here. Well, there are many beautiful poems, but this is what I also love.
what is it?
The completeness of this. I
Hmm.
am the love, the lover, and the
Ah,
beloved. Mystery's rose garden and the gardener. And with the whole mindfulness, I'm also guarding my garden,
mhm.
right?
You have
And
quoted Rumi, I remember.
yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
Rumi.
Mevlana Celaleddin Rumi. Yes, Um, uh, Gardener, I like that. I also consider myself a gardener. And you are a gardener. It's good. In life. Yes.
It's a beautiful flower garden, Tarık. You know, the seeds and the water and the flowers and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And you are a garden and a gardener as well. Um, uh, Liberation, constant liberation to me
yeah,
has
yeah.
an ethical thing, and creativity is part of that personal liberation. It is healing too. And then also, um, uh, not as yourself only, not as Maggie,
No,
to the
no,
easier,
not as Maggie. No, no.
not as Maggie. No, imagine people who are unable to express themselves, and then you understand them, and they cannot write, they cannot speak. When you um, identify yourself with any one of those in any such a position, you have heard a lot of life stories. You can then express, you can be the voice of the voiceless. Then it will not be Maggie who's speaking. You'll be a translator, a bridge between what is not expressed and what should be and is. How about that? That could be provoking.
No, but that's part of my work.
Yeah, good.
That's part of my work. Yeah.
Good. So when you write uh, a few things from the viewpoint of another person, that is also literature. And you will not be partly writing, you will be translating a voiceless person's world to the people who need a bridge. All right? Am I being provocative enough?
Well, you're inviting. You're inviting.
I am inviting. I am inviting. Yes, that's right.
Yes, yes.
Wonderful. And okay, um, what would you like to recommend? This is something you would probably refrain from, but still, what would you like to recommend, suggest, or here's that more terrible word, advise to younger Earthmates in the world? What?
Okay. I just wrote a 14-year-old note, a letter. Um, Let me see, where do I have it? I'd like to read a little piece, a part of it. Is that okay?
Yes, please. Is this by you or by a 14-year-old person?
I wrote
When
it
you
to a
were 14.
14-year-old.
Good.
Yeah.
When you were 14, right?
No,
To a
I
14.
I wrote this 2 weeks ago to a 14-year-old.
Wonderful. Yes. Listening. Right.
Let me find it. Let me find it. It's not here. I have it on my phone. Uh, but where?
And your love for the flowers you mentioned when you discovered the beauty of, they are with you in this presentation, this interview, the background. Um,
I always have this. With the seasons, I change
oh.
those cycles. If we would have done this interview in summer, I might have said other things because I also know that inner change with the seasons
Mhm.
and other cycles. But I'm still searching for this letter. Oh my goodness! I'm sorry, Terry. It takes a bit. No. Where are you? Ah, here it is. Uh, tu, 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 tu. Oh, this is what a piece. I will take a piece out of it as an advice because that you asked me an
Excuse me.
advice, right?
If this is about to finish, we can use the same link, okay?
Oh, okay. So let me prepare to come back then.
Okay, I'll stop here and then we'll use
Yeah.
the same
Yeah.
link
Oh,
again.
nice, nice.
Yes, please. Would you kindly read the message?
Yes, I will. I will. So the message starts with a general line and then a little advice. She's 14 years old, and it starts with love is the very fabric of all of life, and it's your true nature. It is all around you, in you, and it works through you. And then when I go to that little advice, I write to her, um, explore what you love and try out different things and expose yourself to different ideas and perspectives. By focusing on critical thinking and problem solving, you will be equipping yourself with tools that will serve you throughout your life. And then I say, sometimes we have to deal with things that are out of our control. Don't let it bring you down, but focus on what you can control. And the most important thing is to have fun, put yourself out there, make friends who like you and who are there for you. So,
Wonder, Wonderful. Yeah, thank you, thank you. This is a, a, great piece of advice to all younger Earthmates on our planet. Thank you so much. Um, we're together,
yeah.
and thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you for having me, Tarık.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. An honor.
For me as well. Thank you. Take care.